Hi, this is Tasha. Please, I apologize for the lighting. There's no more daylight. The sun has set it. Oh, there's a nice breeze coming through though. And my bedroom light is like way over yonder, so I do apologize. I've been meaning to make this video for a while now, but I haven't gotten around to doing it. I mentioned this in another video that I did a few months ago, but I actually took the video down, so I am just going to tell the story. And this is my miscarriage story. This miscarriage wasn't recent. Well, 3 years ago, but it didn't happen like last month or anything like that. So that's. But I had a miscarriage a little over 3 years ago, and I'm going to talk about it. I know there are thousands upon thousands of other women on YouTube who share their miscarriage story. Every story is unique. The thing that we all have in common is that we lost a baby, but every story is unique. And so here's my story. Okay, well, I have an 11-year-old son. Okay, and my husband and I, we're newlyweds. Actually, we've been knowing each other way longer, but we got married back in 2014. So this June will make 4 years of us being married. So with my health problems and everything, this is all before dialysis and everything. But we had discussed whether or not we were going to have any more children, and I told my husband more than likely we're not going to have any more children because of my health, and I did not want to put my body at risk, put a baby at risk, and whatever. So we discussed it, but we did things that married people do, and I ended up getting pregnant. I was shocked. At the time that I became pregnant, I was in culinary school. And I had been excited about culinary school. Culinary school was something I wanted to do for years. So anyway, because I can talk about culinary school all day on this video. But anyway, so I was at my externship, and I just wasn't myself. Like, I just was not myself. I began to miss a couple of days because I just was not feeling well. Like, I really was not feeling well. I could not put my finger on what was going on. I mean, my blood pressures were okay. My blood sugars were okay. I'm like, I just don't feel well. And I'm saying, well, maybe I'm pregnant. I don't know. My husband, he came around and said, he was like, you're pregnant. I don't care what you say. You're pregnant. It's like he can smell if I'm pregnant. And that's what happened when I was pregnant with our son. Like, I did not want to believe it. I just was like, I'm sick. I am dying. I don't know. I can't. So, and my husband was just like, you're pregnant. So anyway, it had gotten so bad where I had to put the externship and everything on postpone. I had already did that before. I did that before I came back. Well, anyway, so I had to put it on I had to postpone. I said, well, I'm going to finish. I'm going to do what I got to do. I just need a little time off. I'll go back up to the school and talk with the advisors and carrying on and stuff. So, come to find out, I was pregnant. I was about 2 months pregnant. Yeah, I was about maybe 7 weeks. That's almost 2 months pregnant. So I was excited, but I was also very concerned. Because I'm like, this is not what I wanted to happen, but it happened. And my husband and I just said, well, we're going to do the best that we can with me being pregnant. So I went to my first prenatal appointment. And you go to the triage and the nurse checks your blood pressure and things like that. So they checked my blood pressure, and the nurse asked me, "Are you taking your blood pressure medication?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm taking my blood pressure medication." And she showed me the blood pressure machine, and I saw the numbers, and I'm like, oh my God, like, that's not good. So I didn't even get to see the doctor. They rushed me right over to the emergency room, and I was admitted into the hospital. And they were very concerned. The doctors, and I was very concerned. Well, everybody was very concerned. So initially, the doctor had told me that I should consider having an abortion. And I told the doctor, I said, I can't do that. I can't abort my baby. Like, I really can't do that. Now, some people might say, well, you should have had an abortion. That's you're entitled to your opinion, but I couldn't bring myself to doing that. So that devastated me, because when they mentioned about me terminating the pregnancy, I knew that something was wrong. So I went back to my hospital room, and I got in bed, and I pulled the blankets over my head, and I began to cry. I prayed. I said, Father, I'm not going to abort my baby. I put this situation into your hands. That's all I said. I didn't really do a long, drawn-out prayer. I didn't fast for a month. I put this situation into your hands. And that's it. I couldn't think of anything else to pray. So, time went on. I was in the hospital for about 2 weeks, and then in the meantime, I was diagnosed with hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. So then I began doing research about that disease. So pregnancy and hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, and I saw other women like in Facebook groups and things like that with babies, and I'm like, okay, well, I can carry this pregnancy, okay, I'll be all right, long as I do what I'm supposed to do, take my medication and stuff like that, and and go to my prenatal appointments and things like that. And so they began to change my medications and give me other medications that would be more safe for the pregnancy and things like that. So I was taking these pills as directed. I'm laying off certain things and just trying my best to not worry. And my husband would take my blood pressure about 3 or 4 times a day. And every day my blood pressure just would not come down. It just wouldn't come down. Like, it just would not come down. And I'm just like, what's going on? And I began to be very discouraged. Like, my blood pressure ain't going down. I don't want to get sick. I don't want the baby to get sick. I don't want nothing to happen. I'm just like, So I'm going to try to, be as brief as possible. So the blood pressures just were not coming down. And I went to it was my second or third prenatal appointment, and I really wanted my husband to come with me, but at the time one of his aunts was very, very ill. He hadn't seen her in a long time, and it wasn't looking too good for her, so he had to go out of town to spend time with her and the other members of his family. And so I took my baby to school that day. I went to my prenatal appointment. And, the doctor was asking me a whole lot of questions. Your blood pressures have been really high, blah, blah, blah. You're taking your medication, you're doing this, just really running it down. And I was getting a little bit frustrated because I wanted to just scream, like, yes, I'm taking my bleeping medication. Like, leave me alone. Like, so anyway, they took the little I forget what you call the instrument, but the little thing with the it's a little handheld device that has a little speaker on it, and then like the other thing you put on the belly. So they will basically look like the heart monitor, I guess. I don't even know. So the nurse was trying to find a heartbeat. So my mind is on Jupiter that day. I'm not even. Nothing is really registering for me. So she was, trying to find a heartbeat. So I'm thinking it's just something's wrong with the machine. I'm not thinking anything. I'm just like, okay. So she takes me into another room and had me lay down and put some more of that cold goop on my belly. Still couldn't hear anything. I'm still not putting two and two together. I'm not even thinking like that. So she said, I'm going to have to send you downstairs where they have more advanced machines and, they can examine you better. And I'm like, okay, fine. So I went downstairs. I sat there. They called me into the back. The tech was very nice and things. So I'm just laying on my back. I'm waiting to hear that sound that, whoosh, 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 whoosh. I'm waiting to hear that, because I had heard it before, and they actually showed me my baby on the screen, before when I was in the hospital, and it was really exciting. So I'm just waiting for that. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. I'm waiting for that, and I don't hear that. But like I said, at this moment, my mind is just like I'm not. I don't know. So the text says, well, I'm going to step out for the moment. I'm going to get the doctor to come in here and talk with you. I'm like, okay. I'm not. I had not a sense of doom or gloom or anything. I'm just like, okay, like, all right. I'm just going to wait for the doctor. So I'm waiting, So the doctor comes in. He says good morning, introduces himself. He sits down. Tap, tap, tap on the computer. Look, about not even 2 minutes later, he said, ma'am, I'm sorry to tell you these things happen, but there's no heartbeat. And I froze. I'm like, I couldn't even say anything at that. What? No heartbeat? Like, no. I didn't say, oh, can you do it again? I knew, like, there's no heartbeat. So that's why they were doing the whole rigmarole of sending me here, there, and everywhere. I guess, I don't know. They had to make sure before they just say there's no heartbeat. So the doctor confirmed it, and so he stepped out, and the tech had came back and said, I'm so sorry. She was like, I'm going to step out for a moment. If you need to use the phone, you can use the phone. This phone is right there. You can get dressed and things like that. And at first I said, I'm going to wait till my husband came back to tell him the bad news. And I couldn't wait. I had to call him and said, baby, I said, I have really bad news. He was like, what happened? And I'm like, I said, the baby's gone. And he got quiet, and I began to sob, and I'm just like, I was just sorry. I was like, I wish you were here. Like, I'm like, I wish you were here. Like, oh God. So I got dressed. They gave me the paperwork, and gave me an appointment to come in for a DNC and things like that. And so only thing I could think about at the time, I said, I just want to get home, get my baby, and come to the house. Get my son and come home. That's all. I got on the phone. I didn't know what to do. I called somebody that I knew, and I told them what happened. And I went home that night. I just was like, so only thing I prayed, I said, God, I said, please do not let anything happen to me before my husband comes home. When I say I didn't want to start bleeding or anything like that because I had a miscarriage. The baby passed away in the womb. And so they gave me medication to put in your cheek to help expel the pregnancy. And I was so scared to take it because I thought that it was like automatic. Like as soon as I take it, I was gonna do that. So eventually I took it the following day because I just was so out of sorts. So I took the medication the following day. And I just prayed and I cried and I cried. My son at the time, he was about 6 years old, 6 or 7 years old. So he didn't know why mommy was crying. He knew mommy was having a baby and everything, but he didn't know why mommy was crying. He just probably thinking she's really crying, And I kept hugging him and just crying and, just like, oh God. And so my husband came home. He already knew, so we sat down and we told our son that mommy's not going to have the baby. So he asked why. I said, the baby couldn't live in mommy anymore because mommy's sick. And, he cried a little bit because he was really looking forward to being a big brother. And it was just so devastating. So my next prayer was like, well, God, I don't want to have a DNC. I don't want a DNC. I never had one before in my life. I did not want to get one. Now, of course, if I had to get one, I would have had to get it. But something in my spirit was telling me that if I would have gotten a DNC, it would not have been good. I just felt very uneasy about having a DNC performed. And I prayed about that. I said, please, whatever has to come out of me, just let it come out. So that week, I was scheduled to have the DNC. When I got to the hospital, they checked me right in to the room, not the operating room, but just like in the obstetric section of the emergency room. And I began to just have all this pain just out of nowhere. Like, I was in pain anyway, like the whole weekend, but it was just intense. Like, oh my God, like. And the doctor came in, was like, well, are you ready? And, she said, well, I'm going to examine you before we go in. And as soon as she was about to examine me, that's when, I don't mean to be so graphic, I'm sorry, but that's when the pregnancy came out. And, that was the saddest, like, the saddest thing. And, oh boy, sorry. So they took me upstairs. They had to put this instrument to check on the inside to see if I had any more tissue left over. They said I didn't have much. So he patched me up or whatever, and I went on home. So I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just like devastated. My husband's devastated. Like, we're just all devastated. And so that Saturday, I woke up. I had this intense back pain. I mean, intense. It was so bad. I just got on the floor. And I had to go to the emergency room. So I began to pass these massive clots. I'm so sorry for being graphic. It was horrible. I went to the emergency room and everything. And the doctor that I had, I do not know his name. But every time I have to go to the ER, if I see him, I always say hi because he was just so sweet, so kind. And He just was so sweet and so kind. Like, he was like, no, you're so sweet and so kind. He's like, all the hell that you have been through. He said, you have been nothing but nice to me. And I'm like, well, thank you. I tried. Well, anyway, he helped me, but then they sent another doctor in. I guess this other lady doctor, and she was very cold. And I understand that some doctors are cold. They can't become emotionally attached to the patients and things. I do understand that. I respect that, understand. Because if they got emotionally attached, they would be out of their minds with all that they see and have to deal with on a daily basis. And she examined me. She looked at me just very matter of factly and nonchalant. She said, you'll never be able to have any more children. Even though in my heart I kind of knew that. But like, sorry. To hear it come out of somebody else's mouth and the way she said it was so hurtful. Because a lot of times women have miscarriages and they have a year or two, they let go by and they have another baby. And that's not the case with me. I mean, in my physical condition, I would not be able to care for a baby. So, I mean, everything happens for a reason. And God knows best, but it's still hurtful. I'm only 36 years old. And do I have baby fever? Yes. I do. I get baby fever all the time. But we know that we cannot have any more children. And we will not be dumb enough to try to have any more children. With all the health issues that I have, that would be a very dumb thing to do. But I am grateful that I have my son. I have 3 stepchildren. And a whole mess of nieces and nephews and a grandbaby on the way. Yes, my husband's oldest daughter is expecting her first child, our grandbaby. I know I'm the stepmommy, but I get dibs too. I'm step grandmommy. So I am excited about that. She's a very beautiful young lady, college graduate. She's doing good in life, so she is doing the family proud. Excuse me. But I had to get that out. I mean, I've told my story before, but maybe somebody can listen to this, and who knows. If you have never seen any of my other videos before, if you are a first time viewer, the reason why I cannot have any more children is because I have complications from diabetes. And that was the reason for me having the miscarriage. I had developed preeclampsia very early in the pregnancy. I did not know that you can even develop preeclampsia early in the pregnancy. I thought that was an end of pregnancy thing. But, you learn, you live and you learn. So before I ramble on too much longer, I am going to end this. And excuse me, I do apologize for the graphic details, but that's what happened. And I guarantee that the next video that I do, it will be more upbeat. And until next time, be blessed. Take care. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, comment, like, share. Be blessed.